Now you're here to say hello. I think we're okay. Hey Heidi, I think we're going for drinks.
Just back up and
Magic 8 Ball
We're
says.
going for water and granola bars. That's what we're going for.
I just love that the first meeting after we got that, like, yes, let's do this. I put the chances at 0.0.
I do too. Yeah.
As we see that 8 o'clock come.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd like to reestablish
He's fine, how are you? I'm well. Good one. I'm good.
a little bit squishy.
Yeah, I'm good.
So
Same thing as you.
I've got kind of like a harder
Public comment, remember I was gonna make just to tell people how to come
That
up
would
with
really
it, but, you know,
Yeah.
how I got
Oh yeah,
people
just like it
there,
was
so I was gonna skip it.
in St. Louis when it all blew through. We were down
Four of
there
them know how
for
to
hiking,
speak,
and all of a
like,
sudden that night
because they're
it just went
partnership
from
employees.
nice to freezing cold.
But if you'd rather me do it, I'll do
This
it.
is gonna.
I don't know.
I
As a
said,
protocol,
We were due
say it.
November, please
Yeah,
reminder.
it's quick hitting. Like it's
I
supposed to
know.
warm up. It's supposed to be like 60 by Friday.
Yeah.
I'm like, and so all my kids were like, I heard it snowed up by your house. We have a snow day? No. It's 2 inches. You're going to school.
It was such a nothing breaker.
Yes.
Oh,
but
it's weird that we have snow.
They were saying it was going to be like 11 inches, 16
I know.
inches.
It said travel.
What?
My
It
app,
did?
my app said travel will be impossible.
I saw that too. Yes.
And so
Don't
many
get off
kids
the
last
highway.
night.
Don't
Do you think we're
side
having a
streets.
snow day? I'm like,
The word impossible was pretty extreme.
Okay, they need to like lovely snack. Are we expecting a really long meeting?
I know, that's what we've all been saying. It's like, is this a...
That's what I was.
yeah.
It might be. Because all the park districts then. Right. Yeah. Because now it's on the agenda.
And that is really more for the people who are going to watch the recording of this, that's opposed to that. As much as it is for the whole room.
Yeah.
So
We are
please
always-
feel free to
It's
use
probably
your
on,
phone. For the board to
So don't say anything.
Typically, we don't spend more than 30 minutes on public comment at a board meeting, but of course, that's up to the board. And typically, the board does not go back and forth conversationally during public comment, but they may ask questions or they may refer you to staff as well. And that is about all I'm going to say about public comment.
All right, thank you. Okay, it is 7:01, so good evening. Welcome to the November 10th, 2025 meeting of the Village of Western Springs Village Board of Trustees to honor our nation's heroes and especially to honor the individuals who serve and protect our community. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May we have the roll call, please, Clerk Timick?
Yes, President Rudolph. Trustee Avakian.
Here.
Trustee Chen.
Here.
Trustee Fink.
Here.
Trustee Lewis.
Here.
Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Naraki.
Here.
All present?
Thank you very much. Speaking of public comment, we will now move on in our agenda to the public comment. Anyone is welcome to come up to the podium and offer anything they'd like to say.
I think I'll be speaking later, right? If I may have like a partnership with the facility, do I talk now or I talk then?
Oh, now.
If I certain way or, okay.
Yep.
So my name is Tom Oak. I'm here on behalf of Western Springs Little League and the Western Springs Park District, who we've been working with on behalf of submitting a permit for the building of a new softball field in the northwest corner of Spring Rock Park, as well as enhancing and/or putting some definition to the signage that we have throughout the fields and the wall, the champion wall in the A-ball field or the piccolo field, which is right next to the parking lot, right next to the pickleball courts. I think it's one of those, I don't know how freely I should speak right now, but, this is something that The softball field is something that's become a necessity for us as we've been enjoyed the growth of softball within Western Springs Little League. That portion, from I have girls that are in high school and college, and softball was not much of a thing for them at that point, but I think this last year we had a record number of girls playing softball. We've run out of field space. We have the 2 fields at Spring Rock Park. We will have 2 fields at Springdale, not this next summer, but I think the summer afterwards, but those are also used for baseball. And we've been using a field in Countryside. We've been using LaGrange Highlands. So the idea is to build a 3rd field that's softball. Well, I shouldn't say just softball. It can be used for baseball as well. But a 3rd skinned infield in Spring Rock Park to alleviate some of the field congestion, give the kids more chance to play within town. It is something that we've worked with the Park District on for the last couple of years. Western Springs Little League is going to fund, if not all, a lot of the cost. We're happy to do it because it helps kind of keep that program progressing, growing, thriving. The second part of the permit addresses more of our revenue concerns. Western Springs Little League, from the baseball standpoint, has seen a decrease in enrollment over the course of the last 10 years. Much of that can be attributed to the growth of travel baseball, the increase in other sports, lacrosse, football in the spring, soccer, whatever. A lot of that has taken away from the number of kids that are willing to or want to participate in baseball. And I can go on for hours about why. But because of that, we've always tried our best to keep our costs for Little League as low as possible to encourage more and more kids to play, or as many kids as we can get to play. What we do to offset that cost is allow people to sponsor teams, sponsor the program. And what we try to do is highlight them by either putting a banner in the outfield of one of the fields or anywhere along the fence of one of the fields, as well as a couple years ago we built a champions wall to honor the teams that have won a state championship for Little League, as well as we have a home run derby every year. So the winner of the home run derby gets their name, both boys and girls gets their name on that wall as well. Until we fill all those spots, we have some open areas that we've been offering to sponsors. And this past year we offered a couple sponsors, or we offered to put in people, but 2 sponsors took us up on putting it on the north side of the wall, which faces the pickleball and faces the train tracks. So we are asking for the permit that we either had, or I guess a new permit, to allow for that signage to go to local sponsors in the area. We have done a lot of work to make sure it stays for sponsors in the area. We're not putting like a Bud Light sign up there. We are putting local people. We are putting tasteful decorations up there, tasteful signs up there, at least in our opinion. And those alone help bring in a cost, anywhere between $8,000 and $12,000. That sign alone helps bring in $8,000 to $12,000 a year for us to then put that money back into the fields, such as the softball field, fencing there. The new dugouts we put in last year, Western Springs Little League paid for, and we have several projects that are kind of in the works to be the next project up. We're not a for-profit program. All the money that we raise, either through the local community, through registration fees, and then the Chicago White Sox, who are very generous to us, we put that money back into facilities or kids training or uniforms, et cetera. So our hope is to continue to raise money, even in a more challenging environment, and an environment where everything seems to get more expensive annually for upkeep and maintenance. And so we'd like to really, that revenue source is critical to our ability to keep the prices as they are, consistently try to encourage kids to play by not, doubling prices, et cetera, and invest back in our fields to make our fields as nice as some of the fields in the area. I mean, I think when you look at the field itself, Western Springs Little League fields are as nice as they've come in the western suburbs. Some of the, Hinsdale and some of the other towns have built up, brick, whatever, pavers, all that stuff like that, which, look nicer, but the field themselves are very good because we spend a lot of time aerating, mulching, seeding, spraying for weeds, et cetera. So all that money gets used for that. So that's really what the 2-part permit is for, is a request to not only build a softball field, but to also have the ability to continue to and expand the usage of our signage program.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else want to speak? you. Walt?
Good evening. I'm Walt Nackey with the Park District Executive Director. It's a pleasure to be here. And before we get too far, thank you for your service. I mean, I've been on that side too, so I know it's not difficult, or it is difficult a lot of times. Just a couple of quick notes. The Park District fully supports and engages this process. We understand it. It's vital to the community. And we have to go through it as well. Sometimes we don't like it, but we do. I think the existing conditions that have been stipulated to attain this permit are acceptable. We may want to consider, as a committee, that instead of a deadline of spring of next year where those signs on the north side have to be removed, we extend that until the sponsors change or the sign needs to be changed. So that might be something this committee or the trustees want to consider. We've got unbelievable support behind this. The Park District is a low-cost provider, and we've been that way for a long time. The only way we can do that without continually raising taxes is through donations and grants. And we've been very successful in the last 4 or 5 years. I think it's over $3 million that we're generating through very generous residential support. So we want to continue that, and rather than a possibly conception of a punitive process, we may want to consider that small change, give them a little more time, to make that, if it's necessary to make the change, that might behoove the whole process, and people would find it more acceptable. So thank you again. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Hi there, my name's Catherine Lopez, and I just wanted to say thank you for taking a brief minute to listen to all of us and to be here tonight. A lot of what I had on my list to talk about, Tom already checked off my list, so I just would like to add a couple things really quick about what I think is so important about this permit that we're applying for. The first part of the permit, the softball field, I know that a few of you you've already heard my passionate speech, but to anyone who hasn't yet, I want to talk about how important that softball field is to the girls of Western Springs. It's extremely important. Right now, the opportunities that we have for our boys in Little League are second to none in the western suburbs. We consistently have a team that finishes in the top, I would say, 5. We won the state this year on the boys' side, so we have an excellent side on our boys' baseball side, and we're working really hard to build the girls' softball side. And I think that I think it's very important for the girls in the community to see that they have the same things offered to them that our boys currently have offered to them. That includes facilities, and those facilities directly tie to our ability to host district and state championships for softball. We haven't been able to do that yet because we don't have the facilities to do so. So as a mom of boys and girls, my boys have absolutely relished in the championships that Western Springs has been able to host here, districts, states. It's an electric atmosphere if you haven't been down there at Spring Rock before, with the food trucks, and the whole town is out there, and it's a really wonderful environment, and I think speaks volumes to the strength of our community, why we all love living in Western Springs. And I think us building this softball field will allow us to host tournaments for our girls as well. So for me as a mom of girls, that's something that I think is really special to offer to our girls, and for them to feel that their facilities are just as good as the facilities that we have for the boys. So I think that's something that as time goes forward is just really monumental for us to do for the girls of Western Springs. The second part of our permit that we're applying for is on the sponsorship side, and these two are directly tied together because our ability to fund things like this new softball field and the new batting cages that we just built this past year are made possible by our sponsorship dollars. So the ability for us to have sponsors, have the banners, have the wall, it's essential to us to continue to be able to fund these great things that we're funding in Spring Rock Park. And that doesn't include the regular maintenance of Spring Rock Park that we already support. So I think that's something that I think really directly goes hand in hand. And Little League is a proud, strong partner of our park district. We, like Tom was saying, we do reinvest our funds back into the parks. We are not for profit. This is something that is really, we feel passionate about on the Little League side, and we want to continue to be able to support the park district. And the park district does look to us when they are in need of improvements. So I think that that's something for us to continue to be able to do for the village, for the park district. These sponsorship dollars are extremely important. And then addressing the signage plan that has been laid out for how the signs can go, where they can go. I think if you are familiar with other Little Leagues in the area, signage on the fences is pretty standard. When you go to a Little League, you'll see them below the fence line. All of our signs are below our fence lines. Our softball fields currently don't have outfield, so they are on the backstop side. And we're asking that we could continue that. We currently do have permanent signage on our scoreboards, which we are asking to allow that they stay there. Those have been there for a number of years, and those are actually permanently affixed to those scoreboard signs. So we're asking that those scoreboard signs be permitted to stay. And again, this is something that is essential to raising the funds for sponsorship, because if those signs do come down off the scoreboard, their value is significantly diminished. The amount that we can charge a sponsor for an outfield banner is significantly different than what we can charge for a scoreboard sponsor, as you can imagine. So we're asking that you allow us to keep those scoreboard signs in place. And then on the Champions Wall, currently, we have on the front side, there are 9 squares, and there were 9 squares or rectangles on the back side of this Champions Wall as well. And those 9 rectangles have been vacant because there were no sponsors that were interested in those 9 rectangles on the back, and that was due to their small size. Those 9 rectangles on the back are not visible from any of the baseball or softball fields or the remainder of Spring Rock Park. They are visible from the pickleball courts. They are visible when you drive into the park, but once you're in the park, those signs are not visible. So our sponsors viewed that as diminished value and a less desirable place for their sponsorship to be, due to the fact that when people are in the park at the games, they're not able to view those signs. So we've been trying to sell those because we knew we had some really big items that we're trying to fund, the softball field being one of them, and that was what prompted us to sell the backside of that Champions Wall. And this was my first year on sponsorship, and Tom has said in past meetings, and so has Jeff, from our side, we were not aware that it was not permitted to put something on the back of that Champions Wall. So I would just like to say we were not trying to, scoot one by anybody. We really were under the impression that we could put signage on both sides of that. So I would like to say that this was not an intentional slight in any way. And the reason that we ended up with 2 sponsors on the back is because those are the only 2 who were shown any interest in being on the back. Originally, there was just 1 sponsor, and we were able to have a second one that if the signs were larger than those 9 squares, that they would be interested, because those 9 squares, if we were to have the same size as the front, are not quite as visible, and you're not viewing it from up close the way you're viewing on the front side when you're on the baseball field or in the park area viewing the baseball games. So trying to think, did I answer all the questions? That kind of sums it up really quick as to why it's important to us. We are hopeful that we've been to a couple meetings, and I feel like we are hopeful that you will consider the vote from those past two meetings. I think, people did really, talk back and forth, and I think if we could leave those, the back of the Champions Wall, as Walt was saying, it would be wonderful. Those sponsors did pay for their sponsorship, and within a couple weeks of it going up, those sponsors were covered. So I think if we could at least uncover them until baseball season begins, maybe if we could allow them to have one baseball season with those 2 signs up before we switch to the 4 signs that were agreed upon. I think that would be wonderful, and a show of good faith to the sponsors who donated, a lot of money towards the building of the softball field and the other projects that we want. And I also would like to note that as we do continue, this Champions Wall is not permanent forever, because hopefully we keep winning state championships, and hopefully we keep having things to celebrate. So those sponsorship signs will become fewer and fewer, and the back of the sign will be reconfigured at some point, because we'll hopefully fill it with championships. So hopefully that answers all your questions. Thank you to everybody, and have a good night. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else for public comment? All right, very good. Thank you all very much.
President Rudolph, I just
Yes.
wanted to note that there is a public participation memo that was left here on the dais for us from a Krista Lavo in support of Western Springs Little League.
Okay, yes. Got to it, yeah. Thanks very much. Okay, moving on our agenda, our next item is regarding appointments and reappointments. And these will be on the omnibus, but tonight I'm pleased to bring up and to announce the appointment of Jim Terrell to the Plan Commission for a 3-year term to expire on November 10th, 2028. As we all know, Jim has served this community in various capacities for over 19 years. So pleased to see him step up yet again. The next is Peter Glimko, also who has served the community for quite a long time as well. We're appointing him to the Liquor Commission, also for a 3-year term to expire on November 10th, 2028. And then finally, the reappointment of Doug DeRock to the Liquor Commission, also for a 3-year term to expire on November 10th, 2028. So again, those will be on the omnibus tonight. Similarly, the October 27th, 2025 minutes are also on the omnibus. Does anyone have any questions or concerns about those minutes? All right, very good. Then we'll move on to our committees, and we'll begin with General Government. Trustee Chen.
Thank you, Madam President. The one thing I would like to report on that we discussed in our General Government meeting is the schedule of Board of Trustee meetings for 2026. We reviewed them. Just a couple of things to highlight for the board. We are keeping with the one meeting in the summer. If anybody has any comments on that or any suggestions, but we kept that structure going forward. And then there was one change because of Memorial Day in May, so there was a suggestion to move the second meeting up a week to the 3rd Monday. So I think everything pretty much is as it's been in the past. So we recommended it, we reviewed it, and I don't see it on the omnibus tonight, but we recommend approval.
Okay, great.
And then the second item is just a note that we did discuss the budget for the manager's office and elected officials during our meeting. So we have started to review the budget, and we went through it pretty thoroughly in our meeting. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, moving on to Finance Committee. Trustee Martin?
Yep, go ahead.
Sure. We do have a few things tonight. One on the omnibus item. We would like to, sorry, let me just jump back. Lost it. Give me a second. Okay. For the omnibus consideration this evening, the Finance Committee reviewed this item at our November 4th meeting, and we recommend the approval of the authorization of funds from the Downtown South TIF District Fund for electrical upgrades as part of the overall public improvements within the village. This has been a budgeted item, and this is really just to bring it forward from the TIF money. This shouldn't be anything that we didn't expect, so you'll see that on the omnibus. The second item is a budget amendment. Our chemical costs in the water treatment plant have increased, so the Finance Committee reviewed this item at their November 4th meeting, and we recommend the approval of a budget amendment for costs associated with the water treatment supplies in the Water and Sewer Fund in the amount of $85,000. Both the cost of the actual chemicals as well as the amount of use have gone up. So not only we're going to approve this for this year, but we've changed the budget for next year to reflect that increase. And then finally, I'd just like to say we are reviewing the full proposed budget as it's continuing to be refined in all of the committees, and we will have that for discussion November 17th meeting at our board meeting. And that was it.
Can I just add one thing here? So at both the General Government Committee and at the Finance Committee, we have been discussing the cost of our health insurance plan, which, as you would expect, health insurance is a large part of our budget as our salaries for our staff. And so we have here tonight with us Mike Wojcik from the Horton Group, and he will be coming up just for a few minutes to give a brief overview of our renewal this year and some of the information that he provided us as we determine how to bring our plan into line with our budget this year. Thank you, Mike.
Good evening.
Hi.
Sorry to deliver the bad news that you've all seen already. Is this working okay?
Yeah, that's great, thank you.
Also mention a colleague with me tonight, Deanna Wardlow, our account executive for your plan. We're here to answer any questions, but mainly just kind of give a heads up as to why the renewal started and ended where it did. Much to a surprise to everybody, we were expecting renewals to be bad this year. We were warned it'd be about an average 25%. So when we saw years coming in at 47, that raised the alarm quite a bit. We did a lot of shopping to try to mitigate that and negotiate that. Different than last year when we started at 22.3 and got it down to 5.65. This year we're only able to get it from 47 to 32. And that also entailed some plan design changes to get it there that your members will be experiencing. Not a lot of good news in the industry, as you've probably read. What's been happening? The carriers have been experiencing conditions far worse than they've ever anticipated. They have actually been operating in the red, and that's hard to understand for an insurance carrier to actually be in that condition, because we all think just the opposite. But however, the numbers did show. The Blue Cross companies throughout the whole United States had greatly lost compared to the previous year. Some of the stock-traded companies lost stock value as much as 50%, even higher, some of the major ones, and they still are reporting losing numbers. So they are trying to level set, for lack of better terms, premiums to get to a point to kind of cover the losses that are out there. So when we look at the renewal for your plan, it's a combination of a couple things. It's a combination of demographics, risk, and trend. 3 things, not a couple. But they apply to your plan, but then they also apply to the general market, what's going on there. I'm going to touch on a few of those real fast. So trend, when we hear about it, we read about it, it's like you read these great numbers, trend is 8.5% this year. Well, why do we get 47? And what's the difference? Trend is kind of like an inflation number. It's the cost of goods and services this year. What's their price going to be next year based on the contracts that the insurance companies are getting from hospitals, doctors, providers, pharmacy, et cetera. 8.5 is medical trend. Pharmacy adds another 3.5 points to that. So trend is really about 12% last year to this year, or this year to next year. And we read that these are the highest prices the market has seen in about 13 years, and that's accurate. And actually, it's continuing. There's a number of reasons for it. The demographics is another category. I'll come back to the pharmacy. Demographics is another category that affects the plans, and your plan membership has been enjoying the addition of a lot of younger generations coming on. It's just a natural thing. So Generation Z is on your plan now. It wasn't 5 years ago. Generation Millennials are on your plan in greater numbers. Decreasing are the baby boomers. However, your plan has 20% of the 100 employees that are on your plan are over the age 60. Our average age is 48. Those are high-cost categories, just in general, average age 48. It implies to an underwriter greater usage of pharmacy, greater usage of potential of high-cost claimants, and some of these actually played out. The risk of the plan has kind of had an impact this year with 8 large claimants that are ongoing, the largest one being over $700,000. And these are claimants that are going to be on regular care on an ongoing basis. So that also kind of concerned the underwriting process. Specialty drugs come back to pharmacy. It's a growing category. And it's an ongoing category. It's used for many autoimmune conditions. Of the total pharmacy spend, it's very few people take these drugs, but it accounts for 42% of your pharmacy spend. We have a new category that's added this past couple of years called gene therapy drugs. These are actually drugs and services to kind of, we all have genes, might be some defective ones, find a way to cure those defective ones. These types of drugs cost between $1 million and $4.5 million. They are in the market today. There's 18 of them that are regularly starting to be used. There's 82 in the pipeline. This goes to that risk factor of the market. Nobody on your plan is taking those, but any day somebody could walk in, become a new employee, or have a child discovered. These mostly affect younger folks. It's a big category. The other ones that you read about, GLP-1 drugs, these are weight loss drugs. Your plan covers them on the PPO side and the HSA side for folks that might have diabetes type 2. They're very effective. They help people lose weight. They help improve their A1C markers and improve a condition that could get worse and cost a lot more money down the road. But your plan also on the HMO covers the weight loss drugs, the Wegovy's, some of the others. These all cost about $1,000 a month. Again, they are great at potentially stopping something from that's about to affect us down the road by helping us lose weight, get in better shape. But they have a lot of cost. So all of these things added up, I don't mean to ramble on, but I'm an encyclopedia on some of this sometimes, sorry. But these are demographics, risk, and trend. Those 3 categories, not just from your plan, but also from the market of what potentially could come to your plan. So what are we doing about this for the future? Your plan adopted last year and expanded it much greater this year to get to that 32%. What's called a Blue Choice Options Network, which is a 2-tier network within their PPO system. They developed this to get better control of cost, and every carrier is developing something very similar. And by the way, these price increases are not just in the Blue Cross world. every carrier we sought were releasing quotes in the same category. So the future of this BCO is they negotiated lower rates and pay-for-performance contracts with doctors, which this easy for me to say, pay-for-performance contracts came out about 10 years ago, maybe even more, but they weren't regularly engaged. Today they are. This new network is allowed to get a lower rate. That's how we got down to 32%. That's one part of the future. It's not just negotiating lower rates, but pay for performance, getting better outcomes for the member. Gets us better pricing overall. So that's part of your plan. RX, I mentioned the specialty drugs. There are alternatives called biosimilars that are being introduced as these drugs come off of their patent. Those cut the cost to about a third of what they are today. Those are happening regularly. And then bottom line, it's a healthier member. It's the goal of everybody. Keep people healthier, and then we avoid the healthcare costs, right? Easy to say, hard to do. But we're here to help in all of those categories. Our job is to represent you to the marketplace, which we did, and we continue to do, and also to try to help your employees understand their benefits. We were just at a benefit fair, I believe, the other day, trying to educate members. And any questions? I'm sorry if I went overboard.
You are an encyclopedia.
Yes.
A lot of good information. It's helpful to understand. Given the factors that you described, this doesn't sound like this year is, or this coming year will be a spike. This sounds like this will be a new normal.
I'm afraid to say I sit on a number of advisory committees and locally in Washington, and just the numbers are still just too much out there to say that they're going to be corralled with these kind of actions this year. This has been going on for several years now, slowly creeping up. It last year was 23, it wasn't too pretty either to start off with, but we were able to negotiate. Now they're not negotiating to that degree. My intel tells me we've probably got a year for sure that we're going to see some hard knocks on the industry. Although it depends. If we could get something going with the pharmacy, as the new administration's trying to do with favored nation pricing, I mean, a world of things. Pharmacy is about a third of our spend, and it's growing. So that's a big one. And then the pay-for-performance contracts. And the key person to all of this is the member. But great question.
Yeah, thank you. Other questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Yeah, again, thank you for the information. Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right. Okay, that concludes finance.
It
then,
does,
correct?
thank you.
Okay. All right, very good. We'll move on then to Planning and Zoning Committee. Trustee Fink.
All right, first item is the amendment to the conditional use permit for the multi-use softball field and signage in Spring Rock Park. The Planning and Zoning Committee recommends approving the conditional use permit on the softball field and the sign. The Planning Commission met in October, and they kind of hashed out a lot of the details of how this should look. And the biggest item that we're talking about was the back of the sign that faced the pickleball courts. So again, as proposed, like the 9 signs was too small. I think the village was looking for 6 signs that'd be a little bigger. I think the Little League was looking for 2 signs, as we kind of met in the middle with 4 signs. So hopefully that meets everyone's needs. The other item is the Heritage Crossing redevelopment and maintenance agreement addendum and updated plat survey. This was discussed in a previous meeting, and it's on the omnibus tonight. The Planning and Zoning Committee recommends approving the Heritage Cross redevelopment and maintenance agreement. So initially, when it was approved 2 meetings ago, part of it stipulated that they had to show improvement in the ground within 180 days. but its building has been held up by permits from the Department of Transportation and Metropolitan Water Reclamation District. So they're just looking for an additional 180 days since they couldn't start work because of that permitting issues. And the last item is the community development budget. We reviewed that at the last meeting and continue to look at it. And that's all we have.
Are we allowed to ask questions on these topics
Yes.
now? Okay,
Yes.
great. I have a question about the delay in construction at Heritage Corridor. So is the 180 days, if we approve this on February 10th, would have been on August 9th, and now we're coming to this. So I'm just trying to understand the 180-day range of time here and what goes into that. And does that extension start tonight, or should it have started August 9th, which was the 180 days? And also, the developer at the time said this project would start in September 2025. We're already 2 months past that date. This project now has the potential not to begin until June of next year. Looking at the dates on here, looking at an open fenced area for over a year is not ideal, and more than one resident has commented on this to me personally. Additionally, the amount of construction in the adjacent areas going on with this delay just draws out that even more, with more heavy machinery and road closures. So what kind of recourse does the village have if this goes past June of 2026?
Director Valone?
Absolutely. So you are correct. The approval under the development agreement was that they were required to begin the site work within 180 days, excuse me. Their actual approvals from the plan development, their conditional use, and all their other zoning relief is contingent on a year from approval. So they did begin demolition of the structure and the site within that first year. They are, as indicated by Trustee Fink, they are in for permit with the outside agencies, which is the Cook County Department of Transportation and also the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, or MWRD. So they, as you have on your agenda, the Department of Transportation from Cook County was seeking some changes to their plat related to access to the culvert that's proposed adjacent to Wolf Road. That was part of the reason that they were still in the review process from Cook County. From our understanding, the drainage portion of that review with the approval of the language from the county is making a significant step forward for them to be able to move towards moving dirt. MWRD, which I can also allow Director Kosa to speak to a little bit. MWRD has had a number of phone calls with us. They are refining some of the items and are looking to get them an outside agency permit as well. So those are the two outside agency permits that are preventing us from issuing our permit. If you have questions about the engineering calls we've had with MWRD, Director Kosa can provide some additional information. So the development agreement, again, required within 180 days of the approval for them to begin their site improvements. It didn't align necessarily with their relief, again, because that was for a year from approval, so that would have been February of 26. So given the delays that they've had with the outside agency permits, they were making a request. They did make the request after the 180 days, more because they were hopeful that they would have permits from outside agencies, and they were not able to secure them in that time. They've also had some changes within the leadership within the development group as well. So if the developer were not to begin work by June 1 of 2026, which is a very conservative number given that they are looking to hopefully move dirt this year and get working on the site improvements, the village would have the ability to find them out of compliance with their development agreement, which I can let Attorney Stratsky talk to a little bit more as well, and they would be required to remediate that situation.
Yeah, I mean, right now, they're dealing with delays that are not within their control. So there's a defense to the violation of the development agreement, which is basically impossibility. They can't move forward without cooperation from people who aren't bound by the agreement, namely MWARD and Cook County Department of Transportation. So we can hold them responsible as soon as they fail in some aspect under the development agreement. So at this point, the extension that they're seeking would bring them back into compliance until we get to a point at which they either do something to cause a delay or fail to comply with the requirements of the outside agencies and fail to get our permits. And then we can fine or take other actions under the agreement.
Okay.
If I may, is there an accommodation that they can make in their request that can expedite this? They're asking for a specific kind of development, right, and they're getting something back. Can they accommodate their development? Can it change the development?
So they are approved for a specific set of engineering plans, architectural plans, landscaping plans, road plans. All of that is approved. So they can construct what they are approved for, but if they were to make changes, that...
If the MWRD comes back and asks for changes, and they say no, then is that our recourse to them?
Essentially, but they're not gonna say no.
Okay.
They're coming back, they're coming back with changes specifically to the language that characterizes their cross-access into the culvert. It's a very technical change, and there's not gonna be an issue with it. It's not really a cooperation thing.
Got it.
So what is the likely timing?
Well, if you ask the developer, they would like to start moving dirt immediately. They have been diligent and continuously reaching out to both agencies to get these permits moving as quickly as possible. We are CC'd on the correspondence because they are hoping that as soon as they are getting their approvals from the outside agencies, that we have an ability to take a look at it, make sure those outside agencies haven't made any changes that would conflict with their approvals, and get them a permit as quickly as possible. They have started to order as well materials for the site that they are, again, looking to get on the ground this year.
They have or have not?
They have. They actually, one of the culverts they have actually purchased, and they are hoping to get in the ground this year. The June 26th date is really a conservative date. They have every intention of getting moving as quickly as they have their outside agency permits. The thought was that would provide them ample amount of time in the instance that we had some sort of extreme weather this coming year, or there was any other delay.
Okay.
If it continues, how many extensions are they allowed?
That would depend on what the village board is looking to grant them.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. It's a long time to sit that, so it's just sitting idle at this point.
Until the outside agency permits have been issued, we cannot issue our permit, and they have already done all the work they can do without the outside agency permits.
Okay. So yeah, no activity currently.
Correct.
Right, okay.
President Rudolph, could I jump back to item A?
Yeah, please, yeah. Well, wait, I'm sorry, let's
sorry.
make sure,
Yeah, sorry.
anything further on that, Trustee
No,
Naraki?
fine on that.
Okay, back to A.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for everyone who came, and I really do love the commentary about how important sports and our parks and so forth are to our children and to the community. I know the Park District, as its own taxing body, tries to stay very lean and mean. I also know as this taxing body wants to do big projects, we have to issue bonds, which we've done too. So I understand big projects take big money, and I understand funding issues really well. The challenge I have in the request is the unintended consequences to the rest of the town. So if we allow for signage in certain areas, it's a bit of a slippery slope in my mind of what does that mean? Can I then sell off the side of my house? Are we gonna be putting in signs all down 294? I need a little bit more time to catch up on this because I can see all of the good thinking from your perspective, but in the chair I guess I've been asked to sit in, I need to think across the entire town, and there's just a lot of unintended consequences to monetizing what I think of as our airspace in Western Springs.
To that point, can we just make sure we have, and maybe you can help us with this, just even understand, I think for all of us, kind of what is our...
Is there a slide presentation that we're going to hear?
Yes, Kelsey and I provided a presentation that we can run through to help everyone kind of visualize some of the improvements they're looking to make out there. Also run through some of the information in the staff report. We could do that now if we're ready to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, sure, thank you.
All right, perfect. So Kelsey is going to go ahead and give you an overview.
Okay, thank you very much. So as we are aware, this is an application by Western Springs Little League and the Western Springs Park District for an amendment to Spring Rock Park's existing conditional use permit to construct a new multi-use softball field with dugouts and fencing, as well as the installation of additional sponsorship signage on the existing Champions Wall. Okay, so Spring Rock Park is roughly 42-acre public park. Originally granted a conditional use permit in 2019 for the continuation of a park and relocated tennis courts, basketball courts, and walking paths and other improvements. In 2023, the conditional use permit was further amended to allow Western Springs Little League a championship/sponsor sign that we will refer to as the Champions Wall, which granted signage along the face of the structure facing south. In 2024, the conditional use permit was again amended to construct the 8 pickleball courts, LED lighting, pathways, and other associated facilities. Okay, a little bit more about the subject property. So it is zoned R2 single family. The figure on the left, you can see the zoning uses that surround the property, which are primarily residential. To the east, you can see there is R2 with a few zoned office and R3. And then to the north, we have a mix of R1 and R2, to the south. And then you can see also to the southwest is Boone Animal Hospital, which is that C2 red property. And then the figure on the right shows the property in relation to the long-range land use designation within the 2003 Comprehensive Land Use Plan. Again, as you can see, the primary land use surrounding the park is single-family residential. So a little bit about the request. The applicant is proposing a new multi-use softball field in the northwest portion of the park, which is shown in the blue with the star, with player dugouts and infield fencing. The applicant is requesting relief for the fence height related to the backstop and dugouts. There is no field lighting proposed with this facility. The applicant's initial request included additional signage on the rear north side of the existing Champions Wall at Piccolo Field, which is on the left. This is the signage that was put up without a permit and is currently covered with a tarp right now. Throughout this process, the application also includes signage also throughout the property, which I'll speak to as we go through the presentation and through the Planning Commission process. The applicant's requested relief can be seen in the table on the screen, which shows the requested versus what is allowed in the Development Control Ordinance. I will walk through these. So our Development Control Ordinance within residential districts prohibits off-site advertising and billboards or poster boards. Within residential districts, there is only allowing one freestanding sign for properties. Spring Rock Park currently, for Little League, I will say, currently has 4. The maximum sign area allowed within residential districts is 30 square feet. The requested total sign area is 772.24 square feet, which does not include any of the temporary banners that may be on the fencing, which is in line with how our code kind of regulates the maximum area for residential between actual freestanding signage and temporary banners. The maximum sign height in the residential district is 7 feet. The applicants are requesting a varying sign height. A couple of the scoreboards are 10 feet. Another one is about 16 feet, but the Champions Wall is the tallest structure, which is 25.17 feet. And again, that is an existing structure. The temporary banners allowed within residential districts are a max of 6 square feet per sign face, and you're allowed 1 front and back. No more than 2 property at a time, no more than 1 of the same type, and it can't be higher than 3.5 feet. And the applicant is requesting varying locations and varying quantities for those temporary signs that we can talk about. Okay, so this application was first heard by the Planning Commission on October 6, 2025. The Planning Commission heard the testimonies provided by the applicant, village staff, and members of the public. The Planning Commission recommended approval with conditions to be advanced to the Planning and Zoning Committee. The Planning and Zoning Committee on October 28th reviewed the application and recommended approval of the Planning Commission's recommendation with conditions to the Village Board workshop for discussion, which is where we are tonight. The application is tentatively scheduled for consideration at the November 17th, 2025 Village Board meeting. Okay, so a little bit about the Planning Commission meeting and the Planning Commission's recommendations. At the October, sorry, I lost my space, 1 second. At their October 6th, 2025 meeting, prior to the October 6th, 2025 meeting, within the agenda packet for the meeting, there was a staff report. That staff report included some original recommended conditions that the Planning Commission could consider if they were to recommend approval of the request. So the Plan Commission used that kind of template and those first 5 conditions as a jumping point to continue on with their modified conditions. Okay, so the first 3 conditions that were recommended for approval by the Plan Commission, which again were in line with the first 3 conditions presented by staff. The first one is that all civil engineering plans be reviewed and approved by the village engineer prior to the release of any permit, which is a standard requirement. 2, all applicable and required outside agency permits be obtained prior to village issuance of a site development permit. Again, another standard condition. 3, a map amendment, letter of map amendment be submitted to FEMA, or the applicant obtain a permit from FEMA prior to the release of any site development permit. Okay, and then conditions 4 and 5 are also in line with what was first recommended by staff. 4 is that the facility must comply with the 2018 Illinois Accessibility Code or receive a written interpretation from the Capital Development Board's accessibility specialist, and that's kind of related to ADA accessibility to the softball field, particularly the dugouts and walking paths. Number 5 is also a standard condition. It allows for minor revisions to the final plans related to stormwater that can be approved by the village engineer. Okay, so staff also proposed a condition that the applicant provide a sign plan for the property with details on existing signage. So the Plan Commission did keep with that initial condition recommendation that the applicant provide some information on scoreboards and various other signage on the property. On the right of the screen, you can see some existing scoreboards and sponsorship signage. So on the right is the scoreboard with sponsorship sign below it, and then in the bottom image, you can see the Champions Wall. Forgot I have my nifty. Oh, 1 second. There it is. Forgot I have my nifty contraption. The Champions Wall is seen here on the left, and then there's that billboard or that scoreboard right next to it with the sponsorship sign. So the applicant must provide detailed information on the scoreboard signs. For a sign plan, the applicant must provide height and area of both existing scoreboards and sponsorship signage on scoreboards. No sign shall be illuminated and no sign shall be obscene. Okay, now as related to the chain link fence sponsorship signage, which more so the temporary signs that hang on the athletic field fencing. This is I'm getting ahead of myself. The Plan Commission recommended that sponsorship banners be allowed on all athletic field fencing with no minimum separation requirements, provided the signs do not exceed the height of the fence and must be removed no later than 30 days following the season. The proposed areas for the temporary banners are highlighted in yellow on the screen, and there are 6 fields, 5 existing, 1 is the proposed new field. So you can see that yellow area is where temporary banners are proposed during the season, front and back. Okay, at the October 6th public hearing, there was additional signage that was discussed on the property that was not included in the applicant's original request, such as some of that sponsorship signage that is above and below the scoreboards, and as well, prior to the public hearing, staff's impression was that there were only 2 scoreboards on the property, but there were 3. So in light of that, the Plan Commission requested some additional information on those other signs that are on the property. My apologies, 1 second. I'm sorry, give me 1 moment, I'm all about. So staff at the time during the public hearing did not have any recommendations related to some of these signs because we did not know that they were there prior to the Plan Commission staff report. So we are proposing some modifications to the Plan Commission's conditions that are in response to those. So for scoreboard sponsorship signage, the Plan Commission recommends that these scoreboards are allowed the same sponsorship signage both above and below the scoreboards. So some scoreboards on the property only have 1 sponsorship sign below or 1 above. This would be allowing for both above and below on all 3. Staff's recommendation is that the sponsorship signage only be allowed above the scoreboards. Sponsorship signage cannot exceed the width of the scoreboards. Staff recommends this requirement be removed as it is null and void due to us recommending that the below signs be removed. And then finally, the Plan Commission, in relation to the scoreboard sponsorship signage, recommended that the sponsorship signage height cannot be lower than the height of the infield fencing, or of the field fencing. And so you can see, they want to make sure that the signs are above that fence line. Okay, the existing Champions Wall, this is what is facing south. This was what went through the conditional use permit in 2023. The Plan Commission recommended that the Champions Wall remain as is, and that signage is allowed to remain with the 9 sponsorship squares and the sponsorship signage at the bottom of the sign. Which again, the bottom of the sign, there was a banner that before the Plan Commission, or at the Plan Commission meeting was brought, that there was additional signage on the banner. I will get to that. Okay, now on to the rear of the Champions Wall. The Planning Commission is recommending for the Champions Wall that there be no less than 4 but no more than 9 sponsorship squares of equal size and area allied on the rear. Staff's original recommendation was that there were no less than 9 and that the rear matched the front. Staff has since modified their recommended condition to state that no less than 6 would be allowed on the rear, which would still allow for some larger signage on the rear than those 9. Also, the Planning Commission is recommending that only 1 square be allowed per sponsor. So again, on the left, oops, my apologies. On the left of the screen, this is the sign with the 9 sponsor squares, and then on the right would be the 4 sponsor squares that the Planning Commission is recommending. Now, the final 2 recommended conditions for the Planning Commission are also related to the Champions Wall rear side facing north. 3, the existing sponsorship signage that was on the rear of the sign shall be allowed to remain until the start of the season, 2026. Staff recommends this condition be removed so that the 4 that are recommended for approval by the Planning Commission, it would be in line with the Planning Commission's recommendation. And then also the Planning Commission finally recommended that a thank you message be added to the top of the sign, matching the size of the champions on the front of the sign. So this right image will show that thank you strip. And so again, this is the 2 signs that are quasi-existing today. They're currently covered with a tarp, and then on the right is what the Planning Commission is recommending approval, which are the 4 squares. The applicant, in response to the Planning Commission's recommendations, has submitted revised plans, which are included in this agenda packet. Those include a sign plan that meets the Planning Commission's recommendations and also provides the area for the scoreboards, the dimensions for the scoreboards, not the temporary banners, but the location of temporary banners, and that Champions Wall. So the applicant did provide that. The applicant also revised the site plan for the proposed softball field to include an ADA walking path to the facility. Okay, at the October 6, 2025 Planning Commission meeting, 13 members of the public spoke in support, 1 was against. Spoken and received public comment were included as an attachment to the Planning Commission's recommendation in the agenda packet. 4 members of the public spoke in support of the application at the Planning and Zoning Committee. Again, as was pointed out, there isn't the comment that was provided at that meeting is on the dais for you all. Okay, and just again to summarize, the Planning and Zoning Committee most recently reviewed this on October 28 and recommended approval of the application with the Planning Commission's recommendation and conditions of approval to the Village Board for discussion at tonight's workshop. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may all have. I know I went through that a little quickly, but happy to answer.
Sorry, I have a quick question. The existing scoreboards, they have sponsorship above and below, or they could have, is that a change?
So yes and no. So currently there are 3 scoreboards. All of them do have a sponsorship sign. Only 1 has one above. The other 2 have sponsorship signs below. With the submitted sign plan, the applicant is including above and below for both. So they're not existing that way, but the applicant is requesting that those be considered for the sign plan to allow that for future use.
Do each of these signs, this is just me, a question about the conditional use permits. Is this all part of one conditional use permit, or do each of those have separate ones, just so I can understand the mechanics of this?
No, it would be a single conditional use permit that would cover the field and also the signs, the site plan as we're referring to it.
Okay.
Because they have an existing conditional use that has been amended. So as they've amended it, they've added things to it, such as
Okay.
the original championship sign, the pickleball courts, and now they're looking to add a field, and then additionally, the signage plan for the park.
Okay, so we keep amending that. So the large sign in question in 2023, when the conditional use permit was amended, it was amended to include that new scoreboard, but it was only for the front.
That's correct. If Kelsey could go back to the front side of it, that's correct. The front side of it was approved along with 2 side banners as well.
Okay.
But it also did include on the top, it had a clock, it also included some language, but some of that language has changed since the 2023 approvals. The 2023 approvals also did not have anything along the bottom of the sign. You can see there's a strip along the bottom below. That is also covered with additional sponsorship signage currently.
Did the permit, I'm sorry, at the back of the sign, was that not included in the permit at the time?
It was not.
Okay.
So nothing should be there now.
Correct.
But the volunteers
But
didn't know
they
that.
thought it was.
Well,
Like,
they
it was
just
one of those-
thought they had a sign and they were trying to make money. They didn't
Yeah.
realize you had to have permission for the back and front.
Okay. I wanted to understand what happened.
But yes, you're right.
Well, I think since
They
the
weren't
first,
supposed to,
like,
but
the
okay,
Little League has
no,
had
they
a
weren't
change in
supposed to.
administration, so by the time they put up the first sign, everyone's gone. So now they're just talking to the back, and they thought everyone had
So-
rights to the back of the sign.
And they thought the 2 big ones were okay apparently? Or there weren't size restrictions?
They had people that were giving a lot of money that needed that, well, suggested that maybe they might not have donated if they weren't that size.
So was the size approved at the time?
No.
Again, the front was permitted to have the 9 squares, and then additionally some language along the top of it that said Western Springs Little League included a clock. Those original 9 squares were approved on the front.
Okay, and the size of the sign in general was approved?
Yes.
The entire thing?
The structure was
Yes.
approved.
That was part of the 2023
Okay.
amendment.
Like other sports, field-facing promotions for the people of that game, right? Normally, that's the structure. Is the sponsors, they're on the jerseys and they're on the things that face inside into the field where gameplay is occurring, right?
I mean, that was what you would think would be happening. Okay.
Well, I think, again, they were trying to make more money, but I think the complaint initially came to the village because someone said, now we're advertising to everyone driving by in the train.
Right. And we could put up a ton of advertising around town to raise money for the village. We could. That is absolutely a funding option for every taxing authority, the park district included. They can try and get that done. I think it's, the question is it in keeping with what we want in our visual experience in Western Springs?
Water towers are example, right? People
Well, hopefully
sell-
we're small enough that we can figure out this.
I think that's.
This
why
might be a good idea.
That's why everyone
Like-
agreed, I think, after 6 hours of planning commission and another 3 hour, whatever, that, all right, 4 seems peaceful and lovely, and you get 4 sponsors, and it's not obnoxious, and I think that's where we got to, right? Isn't that kind of like the room? That's what everyone thought was a good idea?
No, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So 2 is awfully close to a billboard, but 4 is a little more acceptable.
Well, there was,
Yeah,
Was it-
so the other idea was 4 or 6. And if you look at the square footage of like the 6, like it wasn't that much different. And so it was like a good middle ground is what we kind of thought of it as.
For promoting to the people watching the game, I don't think they're far enough away that we need a billboard distance, right, to get that marketing message through. That's my issue. We can always make more money by making something bigger because people like their logos as big as possible. The question is, what is it intended to do? It's a nice fundraising, but it's really there for the community around baseball. It's not for the people going by on the train.
oh, for sure, it's recognizing the people that gave a lot of money.
Right.
I'm saying it was brought to the attention of the village because of a
Yes.
complaint about what was being seen on the train.
Oh, got it, got it.
Well, I'm disappointed that, you know, this went up without its actual approval. And my kids both went through Little League. I've been to many Little League fields all around, and I get it. But at the same time, it's our public park. It's for the community as well, and they go there to recreate and see trees. I don't know. I don't like that it happened. And I get it that you're trying to raise money. Everybody is. I don't know. I don't know how to react to it.
Well, I think the difference I see is 100% of money that is being raised is going right back into the parks.
Sure.
Like, that's, to me, is
Well, to the Little League fields and the softball field.
Right, that anyone can use, though. Like, if there's not a Little League game, if you want to go out and play catch, you can go to the field. So it's essentially, it's helping Spring Rock Park.
Well, they're done really well. It looks nice.
What if AYSO
And we
wants
already
one?
have advertising on there. Like, it's.
I'm
like,
okay
there's
with
advertising on one side of the
advertising,
sign.
as Trustee Martin said,
Yeah.
facing and during the baseball season. I get it. Like, also the people who are sponsoring the teams, they should have their names on the field, and I get it. But I don't understand advertising the rest of the year. It seems not like appropriate.
Well, there's also something that they're fixed. It's not like you slide it in and slide it out. It's like bolted
And there's the
on
unintended
the
consequence,
machine.
right? Someone puts something up, and now we have to say, well, now it's fixed, and now we just are gonna adjust. And if we adjust to this, my concern is someone's gonna come up and say, well, you gave in on that, and I'm only asking for this sign on Wolf Road that's advertising the dentist. That's all I'm doing, and I'm just raising money, and I'll give the village a cut. I mean, there is a point, trust me, there's a point at which you have to say, how far do we want to go to raise money? And I appreciate the challenges, I do. We had to obviously put out a lot of bonds to get our big projects done. The Park District wants to get their big projects done, they can do it a different way. Then I don't know if we have to necessarily, as we haven't in the village, give those trade-offs. It's just my concern. And I would be happy to spend time with staff and understand more of this. This is a lot of, not about this specific sign and not about the Little League, unfortunately. It's about the unintended consequences, in my mind, for the rest of the village.
Yeah, I appreciate that effort here and the
Completely.
softball field. I love it.
Of course.
And creating equal facilities for the girls that's been discussed.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, but we do have standards for signage, and there's a lot of variance that's being requested. So, I mean, kind of to your point, does it make sense to vary it now for this purpose? Maybe, but we just, I don't know, I just need to think about it a little bit more.
It is some variant, but I think it's the uniqueness of the sign. Like, they're really just fitting the spot. So it's not like we have other signs that are that size out there. Like, I don't know, I think this variance is just for this one sign that won't be
Yeah.
extrapolated
The
otherwise,
actual
because we're not
sign
gonna
is
have
already
a
approved.
sign there.
I know, but the part on the back was not approved.
No, I understand, but
Yeah,
the size of
okay.
it was 2 years ago approved, 2022.
Right.
Also without a permit at first, and then we
I
retrofitted.
did hear about that.
I wasn't here then, I just know it was approved.
We set precedent here, and I think that's what we need to care about.
Yeah, and Al, I take a point about this sign in this location.
Right.
It's in the far corner, it's addressing a certain constituency, but yeah, again, I think about the other parks and the other public space in the community too.
How would we differentiate? How would we say yes to one and no to another? I guess that's the unintended consequence. If all of a sudden it's Serrata Park and it's going up in Serrata Park, well, the village approved it in Spring Rock, so why are we saying, do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sure why we're saying yes when this isn't what we intended for, that's why we have the ordinances, right?
I think if it happens straight, we just wouldn't approve it. Like, it would
And
still
then-
be a special zoning, and you could say.
And we would have less of a leg
no.
to stand on to say no if we said yes now.
Right, no, totally, but you could still say no.
You could still,
Like-
but I want to
That's right.
pre-think that, right? I think that's what we should be doing, is pre-thinking
Yeah,
what
I
could
mean,
come
that's
next.
true of many things that we consider.
Right.
Right? Not just this. We consider this for everything that we look at, as to what does it mean for the specific use question proposal that we have at hand, and what does it mean for others and going forward, right? So this is similar to a lot of things that we look at. Again, the specific of this sign is, it makes sense to me in that quarter of the park, but it's the bigger question.
If we okay the 4, what happens to the 2 that are there now?
I think they
I
have
think they're gonna
permission to
stay
go
on
to the
until
end
the
of the
beginning.
season.
Yeah.
That's the
Well,
request, when the new
there's,
4 come
th-
on.
that's
it
an open
changes.
question. So one of the conditions that was recommended by the Plan Commission includes allowing that sign to stay undisturbed until next April, which would be the start of the 2026 season. That's the recommendation of the Plan Commission.
So it
So
would
would
be in
have
compliance
to-
after that recommendation is approved.
Correct, so it would need to move to 4 squares no later than April of 2026.
You also had a request tonight by Director Nacky to consider allowing those signs to stay up for another season. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes, because they have not had the time to enjoy the benefit of the donation that was made. So that was during public comment. Director Nacky asked if the board might also consider just allowing that sign to stay up through the next season.
And those funds have been spent that the sponsors have given? There's no refunds available to them?
Basically, we're for like a zero.
Could you have to come to the podium, I'm sorry.
We don't want to penalize.
So we essentially run like a, I get the technical term, but like a zero-sum game. So all the money comes in one year, gets spent that year on uniforms, sponsors, the fields, et cetera. So, yeah, we don't have the money right now. Could we raise money to give them back? Sure, but it would be, at the behest. We'd be asking one sponsor to basically supplement another sponsor, so.
Understood.
And I think the main point was they're having a really hard time finding any sponsors.
Just to be clear, I just want to make sure that, and again, this is my first year on the board, but the Little League, as a wonderful partner to the Park District, has its separate relationship from the village. I just want to make sure everyone understands that, right? The village runs ordinances for the entire village, the Park District runs the Park District, issues bonds, taxes, and all that kind of stuff, right? So together, that entity, I think, has made a decision that I'm uncomfortable with. That relationship has put pressure on our ordinances that makes me uncomfortable, I think is what you're hearing. So whether it's a communication issue, I will get as involved as possible to make sure that we don't have these trip-ups. But if the village has ordinances, everybody has to abide by the ordinances. And if we have discrete, specific things for the benefit of our programs, great. We have funding capabilities, I think, and challenges that we all have to balance. And I'm just making sure that you guys know that we as the village have to balance the same things that the Park District has to balance.
I agree with your statement, Trustee Martin.
Thank you.
Also, too, just a reminder that we have had the Plan Commission spent significant time on this and looked at this, spent several hours in that meeting, and then also our committee did as well. So I just want to remind, a lot of consideration is going into this, and I think it's worthwhile. It kind of speaks to the overall kind of magnitude of the issue. So I appreciate everybody's time so far that's being spent on it, because it's important as we look ahead. Any other discussion? Or Director Vallone, Kelsey, anything further to add? Is there anything specific about the softball field itself and the site, and the application on that part of it? We've just been talking about the signage so far. Was there anything else to draw to our attention regarding the softball field itself?
No, just to reiterate that they are requesting a deviation from the fence height requirement in the code, and that is directly related to the backstop is, I believe, 20 feet, and our maximum fence height in residential districts is 6 feet, obviously not anticipating athletic facilities and public parks.
Right.
So that's all I have to say about the athletic field.
Okay.
Are banners allowed in other parks? Like along the fence?
They would still, yes, they would have to meet the residential district requirements for temporary banners. And also, again, it depends if it's a park district banner, that is a government agency that our code does not regulate. So the temporary banners that are actually put up by the park district related to the park district facilities are permitted. But if it were another organization that wanted to put up, let's say, for example, a witch's ride, put up a sign at Spring Rock Park, that had to meet the residential district requirements.
Our park had a Midwest not orthodontist.
Orthopedic?
Orthopedic.
Sorry, I was like,
sign
what's
up
the other
at
one?
Pickleball courts forever. Is that something that A-okay?
Having not been able to review the specific sign, I wouldn't be able to speak directly to it. But yes, if there is signage within the park, they would have to follow the same requirements as Kelsey is indicated on the table that's in your packet and on the screen. But without being able to have reviewed the sign, I don't know that I can speak to it.
Put signs up in other parks if you're complying with the size regulations and height.
Right, there is limited capability though related to off-site advertising. So if someone was advertising an activity that's not taking place there, that would be something that our code prohibits. But again, I apologize, I've not seen that sign, so I can't really speak to it tonight. But again, they would be held to the same requirements under the residential district as it's indicated in your packet. Back to the field quickly though, again, the Plan Commission did make recommendations related to it, both from the ADA path and then also from the LOMA perspective, which the applicant has indicated they will comply with or have already updated their plans accordingly.
Any other questions, comments tonight?
I guess not. I guess I'll just have to get more familiar and ask any questions of staff. And then we might be taking a vote on this in the next meeting.
Right, I think that would be some direction we'd be looking, just to confirm that you would like this moved to your next meeting, or alternatively, it could be moved to December 1st, given the fact that this is an atypical meeting next Monday.
We have so much on with the budget and so forth. If we could move this to December, that would be great. For me, anyway.
I would like that as well, but I don't know about other members of the board.
You're just saying just to allow for more time for consideration?
Well, yes.
What are you looking to accomplish in the interim?
I mean, I guess I could do it this week, review everything and ask all my questions of staff before I take a vote.
No, I understand.
Okay.
So can you allow some more time for further questions then? After tonight.
So staff has drafted an ordinance, and if you are looking to move forward on the 17th, we're able to do that. But I'm seeking to clarify as it's tentative. Tonight, we typically ask you when we move these things forward if you're looking to have it finalized and move to the next agenda, or what agenda you're looking to move it to. So staff's ready to go for the 17th. It really just depends on what the board is looking to do.
The meeting after that then would be December 1st if you decided you would like to extend it one more meeting.
Okay, well, I think I'm hearing yes to extend it so that there's more time for consideration by the board before that meeting. So for additional questions to be asked and answered.
Okay. So then we will tentatively place this on the December 1st agenda for your formal consideration.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you very much, Trustee Fink. We'll move on to Public Works and Water Committee. Trustee Lewis.
Thank you, President Rudolph. Trustee Martin earlier discussed a budget amendment related to this first item. The Public Works and Water Committee recommends the full board approve an $85,000 change order that will allow the village to purchase more chemicals for water treatment and production. The change will increase our contract with Hawkins Inc. to $335,000 and will get us through the rest of this year. More money is needed due to unexpected increases in the cost of chemicals, and the village needing to use more chemicals than expected to clean the older membranes in one of the reverse osmosis skids. And that item will be on the agenda, omnibus agenda at our next meeting. Any questions about that? Moving on. The Public Works and Water Committee also recommends the village board award a sanitary sewer cured-in-place pipelining project to National Power Rodding Corporation for an amount not to exceed $50,150. National Power Rodding was the lowest responsible bidder out of 6 bids received. The cured-in-place pipelining is a trenchless rehabilitation method used to repair existing pipelines, And this project includes portions of 51st Street and Forest Hills. And that item should also be on the omnibus agenda at our next meeting. Moving on, our committee also reviewed and recommends the full board approve a proposal from V3 companies to complete Phase 2 design, engineering, and survey work for various streets in the 2026 Capital Improvement Program for an amount not to exceed $131,709. The proposal covers design services for 6 street segments, which will be resurfaced with asphalt. And 2 of those segments will also include water main replacements. The street segments are Garden Avenue from 39th Street north to the cul-de-sac, and that will have the water main replaced. Rose Avenue from 39th Street north to the cul-de-sac. Rose Avenue from Oak Street north to the cul-de-sac, which includes a water main replacement. Maple Street from its west end to east to Hampton Avenue. Sunset Terrace from the dead end east to Hampton Avenue. And Reed Street from Hampton Avenue east to Prospect Avenue. And again, the total for that Phase 2 design services is not to exceed $131,709. And this item, if no one objects, should be in our omnibus agenda at our next meeting also. Any questions about those? Hearing none. Our committee also reviewed and is recommending the full board approve an ordinance authorizing the village to borrow $1,342,000 from the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency's Public Water Supply Loan Program. The money will be used to replace 47 lead water service lines next year. We replaced 42 lead service lines this year, and we expect to have replaced more than 500 lines when this project concludes several years from now. And this ordinance is on the omnibus agenda for action tonight. Any questions about that? And we also discussed at length the proposed 2026 budgets for the Municipal Services Department, Capital Projects, and the Engineering Department. It's anticipated that project using proceeds from our successful 2025 referendum will focus on asphalt resurfacing work in Old Town North and a $2.4 million reconstruction of Woodland Avenue from Burlington Avenue to 47th Street in Old Town South. It's also being proposed that we spend $570,000 next year to improve a very important combined sewer line that runs through Spring Rock Park. And another big project plan for next year, this one being financed out of the Storm Sewer Systems Fund, is to spend $2.4 million for much-needed storm sewer improvements on Ridgewood Drive. So a lot going on. And looking ahead, our committee also discussed the need to start thinking about replacing some of the aging fleet vehicles in the next few years, and that can be an expensive undertaking. For example, a 6-wheel dump truck can cost upwards of $260,000, so something to look forward to there.
The budget.
That's all I had. Any questions about that?
With Spring Rock Park, is it going, would it go through the park? Or?
Right under that big sign, but no. It goes from the water tower, near the water tower, down to the big new combined sewer at 47th Street.
Yeah.
Or 47th.
Yep.
And they don't dig it up. This is one of those.
Pipe in.
Yeah.
I was just wondering,
Yeah.
thinking of how Spring Rock Park was already tore up. I'm like, oh gosh, we're gonna
There
do
we
it
go
again.
again.
Right,
Right.
that's exactly what I was thinking.
No,
So
they talk
thanks
about a
for
super
clarifying.
cool technology where you put a new pipe by filling in the old pipe, and so the new pipe just kind of fills in the.
Director
the
Koza, do you want to
inline
tell us
something.
more?
I think you got it there, Trustee Martin. It's actually, it services quite a large area of the north side of the village, so it's a pretty critical piece of infrastructure. It's made up of a bunch of different materials, but it could definitely use the work, and if it were to fail, we'd have some significant problems. So it's a very good project. Looking forward to seeing it move forward.
Thanks for explaining.
But it doesn't disrupt the entire.
Amazing.
No, the only thing would be if there's a point repair required, which I don't think they decided that yet, but otherwise, yeah, it's a pretty interesting technology how it just
That's great.
essentially is doesn't disturb anyone. It's just put the liner in, inflate it, and cure it, and we have a new piece of pipe for many years.
Wow.
Excellent.
Great.
We're actually doing that on Woodland Avenue as well, provided those bids come in, to rehab that sanitary sewer as well.
Okay.
Is this fairly new technology, or is this
It's been around for a little while. They keep adding different material types and different methods, but the concept's been around for a couple of decades, I want to say, if not longer.
Well, I'm glad we can take advantage of it. Great.
Especially in the park. Good point.
Yeah.
It really disrupted our park. Well, Springdale was very disruptive. Okay.
All right, thank you very much, Trustee Lewis. We will move on to Properties and Rec. Trustee Naraki.
Thank you, President Rudolph. I have 5 items to kind of quickly go over. The first one being, give me one sec, the surplus declaration for Q4. Staff has identified several items that are recommended for surplus. Some of those items being some cabinets and office stands and office chairs, kind of our normal cleanup quarterly that goes on. Any questions on that? Pretty straightforward. Next, we have a contract with, this thing doesn't want to go where it's supposed to. With Utility Dynamics Corporation for Tower Green electrical upgrades. Over the past several years, the village has seen an increase in events utilizing the Tower Green. Events such as concerts, gathering on the green, and others have demanded additional power needs so that the current outlets and circuits on the green cannot be provided. Village staff met with several electrical firms to provide a price for upgrading electricity on the Tower Green. And I have a quick summary of what that will entail. The removal and replacement of concrete handhole and install a new outlet pedestal, add outlets to existing tower lights, replace existing light poles, consolidate lighting circuits, install outlet boxes on lighting poles, and install conduit between existing controller and outlet pedestal. This just allows more power into our downtown for events because we're obviously growing those events. So this just alleviates a lot of those problems that goes on there.
And also, this is not disruptive.
Also not, yes, I should clarify,
Right.
also not disruptive, because we asked that question too, like, with all the work that has happened.
know, it's
We were amazed by
surprising.
that as well, that, oh yeah, we're just gonna go in and run something on the street, and all of a sudden we'll have all this great power to plug into.
Yes.
Our next item is the Village Hall HVAC. So in February of this year, the Village Board approved the replacement of the HVAC controls system for the Village Hall with the award of a low bid contract to Applied Controls LLC. This award was completed after the village had to rebid this project from late 2024. Over the past several months, the village has been awaiting the contractor to provide submittals for the project. In August, the contractor contacted the village architect for the project, 845 Design, to inform the village that they would not be able to complete the project as bid. While Applied Controls LLC stated they could provide a change order to proceed on this project, the proposed change order was, for the various options to move forward, was substantial. Village staff met with the project architect and the village attorney to review various courses of action. To date, there has not been any substantial costs expended by the village in either architectural fees or staff time. The village received a letter from Applied Controls LLC on 10/29/25, dated 10/01/2025, asking to be released from the project. Village staff and the Properties and Recreation Committee recommend to the village board approve rescinding the contract award to the current contractor. The project will be reassessed pending funding ability in fiscal year 2026. I believe this one's on the omnibus for tonight.
I think so.
And then next, we also went through budgeting for the Recreation Department. A quick summary is the proposed budget for Recreation Department was presented to this committee in October, and the only change to that information was the Grand Avenue bathroom improvements that will be added, of just upgrading those, making them more ADA compliant, upgrading
They really
what's
need
in
it.
their Grand Avenue, yes. They really need that. So we'll have more to come on this in our next meeting when we approve, but pretty standard stuff for the Recreation Department, nothing outside of really the bathrooms. We're gonna look at some programs and reinvigorating some of them. I think it's gonna be reimagining in a way, but pretty straightforward for the Recreation Department there. Any questions on that? Okay. And then we also went through municipal services budget at our meeting. And kind of along the same lines, there's some It contains the largest capital and operating budgets covering multiple funds. So the Properties and Recreation Committee reviews the following budget accounts: Municipal Services Administration, right-of-way maintenance, office furniture and equipment, BNSF maintenance, BNSF capital improvements in the Central Business District. There's a few, hang on, let me find it, if I can see it real quick. We were talked a few things, kind of like Trustee Lewis said, about vehicles and things that we would be looking for in the future. So more to come with that when we do our report out. But that covers my report for tonight.
Okay, thank you.
President Rudolph, can I just note for the record that although I indicated that item C, the Village Hall HVAC controls default, is on the omnibus, tonight it doesn't look like it is. So
No, it's
if
not.
we do need a motion, we'll do it next week.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Great, thanks for the clarification. Okay, and Public Health and Safety Committee, Trustee Avakian.
Thank you. My first item is about the purchase of a Stryker MTS power load system, which is like a cot that you can lift people in and out of an ambulance with. And it helps, obviously, everyone do their job better, but more significantly can help for back problems and safety of our firemen and our policemen and everyone, so. There's only one really place that has the kind that we would want, and with the ambulance that we're getting, and it takes so long to get an ambulance, like, and they would hold the thing for us, like it's just a perfect little storm. So we're requesting that we hold off bids and go with, what was my person? Stryker MTS power for that. Any questions there? No? Second item is an intergovernmental agreement with the Village of LaGrange for participation in the Western Springs Fire Academy. They're basically asking if they can have some of their recruits come and do our fire training with our Western Springs Academy. A, because we have such a great reputation, and B, because we have space, and C, because they're gonna pay us, right, to do that. So it's like all positive all around, but yes, we are suggesting that the board approve that intergovernmental agreement. Any questions? Sorry. And then we discussed, and further we'll be discussing the police and fire department budgets, but nothing crazy to bring up now.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you very much. All right, we will move on for consideration of an action on our agenda items. The Illinois state statutes allow a municipality to collectively vote on a group of ordinances, resolutions, and other motions such as awards of contract, appointments, etc. This is known as an omnibus vote. All the items contained on the omnibus vote list have been previously discussed by the President and Board of Trustees on at least one occasion and often on several occasions. By placing them on the omnibus vote list, a single vote may be taken to approve them. A trustee may remove any item from the list and have it discussed and voted on separately prior to the omnibus vote. Is there any such request?
I have that request for tonight.
All right, and the items are?
They are items, hang on, let me make sure I get it, F and G.
Okay, resolution number 25-2956 and ordinance number 25-3293. Okay, thank you. We will pull those off, and we'll discuss those then under old business. All right, Trustee Chen.
Okay, got it. President Rudolph, I move that the following ordinances, resolutions, and motions as contained on the meeting agenda for November 10th, 2025 be adopted and or approved under an omnibus vote. Item A, a motion to approve the October 27th, 2025 President and Board of Trustee meeting minutes as read. Item B, a motion to approve the appointment of James Terrell to the Plan Commission for a 3-year term to expire November 10th, 2028. Item C, a motion to approve the appointment of Peter Glimko to the Liquor Commission for a 3-year term to expire on November 10th, 2028. Item D, a motion to approve the reappointment of Doug Durack to the Liquor Commission for a 3-year term to expire on November 10th, 2028. Item E, ordinance number 25-3292, an ordinance authorizing certain expenditures from the Downtown South Tax Increment Financing District to pay for the electrical upgrades as part of public improvements within the village. Item F and G I will not read, as they'll be considered separately. Item H, resolution number 25-2957, a resolution approving the waiver of the competitive bid process and authorize the approval and execution of a vendor contract dated November 10th, 2025 to be entered into with Utility Dynamics Corporation of Oswego, Illinois for electrical upgrades on the Tower Green and authorizing the expenditure of downtown south tax increment financing district funds in an amount not to exceed $25,670 to pay for the work. Item I, ordinance number 25-3294, an ordinance authorizing the Village of Western Springs, Cook County, to borrow funds from the Public Water Supply Loan Program of the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency for the completion of the replacement of up to 47 residential lead service lines within the Village of Western Springs. IEPA loan number I-17-3761.
Thank you, Trustee Chen. Is there a second?
I will second that.
All right, may we have the roll call vote, please?
Yes, President Rudolph. Trustee Avakian.
Aye.
Trustee Chen.
Aye.
Trustee Fink.
Aye.
Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Naraki.
Aye.
President Rudolph.
Aye.
The ordinances, resolutions, and motions contained in the agenda of November 10th, 2025 are hereby adopted or approved.
Thank you very much. All right, next agenda topic is new business, which this is the,
With one item.
yep, okay, thank you.
If you don't mind, I'd like to introduce Mark Gerentina, who is here with Spear Financial. We've asked them to come and talk about our bond issuance, so we put the first $15 million of the referendum bonds into the market as of today. And so Mark's here. Thank you, Mark, for coming and
Thank you for
lasting
staying.
through the evening. It would be so great for the board to hear just about the bonds and how they're trading. The reception in the marketplace would be great.
Sure. So, good evening. I'm Mark Gerentina from Spear Financial. We're the village's municipal advisor. And this morning we held an auction for the $15 million first tranche of the referendum that the village passed earlier this year. And we received 53 total bids from 7 different bidders. And the winning bidder ended up being the Baker Group with a 3.75% interest rate over 20 years. The cover bid was a 3.76%, so it was a very competitive auction. And interest rates on municipal bonds have continued to trickle down over the past several months. The village sold bonds back in May, and that was at a 4.19% over 20 years, so about a 50 basis point differential. The average annual payment on this bond issue is going to be about $1.13 million. And the bonds are scheduled to close on December 2nd, which is when the village received these funds. At the same time, the village affirmed its AA+ bond rating, which helped with the overall low interest cost for this bond issue. We thought the process went very well, and we recommend the bid by Baker Group be accepted. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
Does that mean multiple groups bid? Like give different
Yeah, so they
bids?
can
Just to understand what that
they
means.
can rebid. So if they don't,
Okay.
they know what position they're in, but they don't know like how far ahead or behind they are. So they can rebid. So that's to kind of create some competition and lowers your overall interest rate.
And they all wanted to take down the whole thing.
Yes, correct.
Okay, nobody wanted like syndicate, okay.
And we don't expect an aftermarket trading of these bonds, right? This is a
No, this is
hold.
this is your final interest rate. It's not going to change.
Right.
Yep.
And our final bond holder, in essence, right? They're holding for the term.
Well, no, they can always trade.
Okay.
Yeah, they can always trade in the secondary market, but
Okay.
as far as the interest rate goes, it's not, for you, it's not going to change.
But it's
It
great
could
to
change
know.
for other people.
Right.
Yeah.
It's great to know we've got 53 other bidders who didn't get it, who would take on that
Correct.
position if they ever wanted to swap out. But
Correct.
that's a great rate and one holder.
Yep.
Mark, that was that 7 bidders with 53 bids?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Between the 7 bidders, they
Right.
put.
Oh, they did 53
Right.
bids.
Yes,
Sorry,
yes.
Yeah, not 53 people.
Sorry.
I'm looking at the list. I mean, is there any reason why we wouldn't want to accept the Baker Group's bid? I mean,
No,
is it just
they're-
a standard.
Yeah, they bid on a lot of our issues, so it's not
Okay.
like, some people haven't heard of them, but they're out of New York. They bid on a lot of our competitive bond sales, so they're.
Municipal bonds
correct.
particularly? Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
So it sounds like we consider this to be a fairly
Success.
significant
Absolutely. Yes.
success. It's the conclusion that I hear.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's
Great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I would just like to thank Spear Financial and, of course, our director, John Mastandona, for all the work they put into getting our bond rating reaffirmed ahead of this, and then to get the bonds out today. Really, a lot of work went into it, so thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Great
Thank you.
job.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So I have a motion, if you don't
Yes.
mind. I move to approve ordinance number 25-3295. It's an ordinance providing for the issuance of approximately 15 million general obligation bonds, Series 2025A, of the Village of Western Springs, Cook County, Illinois, for the purpose of constructing, repairing, and maintaining the village's infrastructure, and for the payment of the expenses incident thereto, providing for the levy and collection of a direct annual tax sufficient for the payment of the principal of and interest on said bonds, and authorizing the sale of said bonds to the purchaser thereof.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Oh, sorry. You got it.
I have a second.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, President Rudolph. Trustee Avakian.
Aye.
Trustee Fink.
Aye.
Trustee Chen.
Aye.
Trustee Naraki.
Aye.
Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Very good, thank you very much. Good, great news.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, now we move on to old business, and so we will bring back the items for discussion that were pulled. Is that how we do this? We don't do this
Yes,
very often.
correct, yes.
Okay, so do we read them first then?
So we would seek a motion.
Okay, so we'll do the same way
Do
we're,
'em one at a time?
yes, thank
I
you.
make a motion to approve resolution number 25-2956, resolution authorizing the approval and execution of First Amendment to redevelopment and maintenance agreement by and between the Village of Western Springs, Illinois, and McNaughton Development LLC for the Heritage Crossing Residential Townhouse Development, paren 5600 South Wolf Road, Western Springs, Illinois, close paren.
Okay, and then I need a second for the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, trustee Avakian. And then we do a roll call on this? Is this how we do it?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you could have discussion if you'd like.
Sorry,
At this
yes.
point as well.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Any further, yes,
The only other
discussion?
question I
I'd love
had,
to-
oh, go ahead. Do you have a question?
I have a question of you. Just
Sure.
Why are we pulling it, and is it the remedy that you're looking for, the recourse on this development?
I'm looking for that, and I'm going to continue to vote no on any ordinances brought up on this project.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, if not, we've had a motion and we've had a second, so may we have the roll call vote, please?
Yes, President Rudolph. Trustee Chen.
Aye.
Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Naraki.
Nay.
Trustee Avakian.
Aye.
Trustee Fink.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right.
I have one more.
Yep.
I make a motion to approve ordinance number 25-3293, an ordinance authorizing the approval and execution of an updated final plat of Heritage Crossing re-subdivision for the proposed 29-unit Heritage Crossing townhome development to be constructed at 5600 South Wolf Road, Western Springs, Illinois, by applicant owner McNaughton Development LLC.
Thank you, and may I have a second?
Oh, sorry, me. Sorry, that's my job, sorry. I second. That's my partner.
Okay. And on this, on this one, any specific discussion?
With the, Heather, with the change, sorry, Director Vaughn, with the changes in leadership with McNaughton, do we see any potential pitfalls with that going on?
I mean, so far I'm still experiencing the same level of service from them and same level of correspondence. They, as I mentioned before, they've already purchased one of the culverts, if not both of the culverts, and they are eager to get moving dirt this season. They have still proceeded to move forward with other aspects of the development as well. They have been complying with other portions of the development agreement. They're required to provide us a certain escrow. They've provided that to us. They have provided us a site development permit. We just cannot issue it until the outside agency permits are done. They've also approached us for a master plan review for the townhome buildings. So what that is both our senior planner and also our building official are reviewing the master plans with all the potential options so that when they do come in for building permits, they've already worked out a number of the items related to it. So they've continued to show progress of moving forward. They although the site still does have silt fence up and the construction fence, they have been maintaining it, and our consultant has been reviewing it with them in any instances. So we have been seeing forward progress. It's just in this one area they have been delayed by our outside agency partners.
What was the management change?
They said that there were some changes,
Oh.
Director Vaughn said during that there were some changes at the top of I don't know exactly who, but there was some sort of.
Paul Martin Sr. Passed away. Yeah.
Oh, he was not well, I'm sorry.
Yep. Okay. Any further questions?
No, not at this
Okay,
time.
so we have a motion and a second. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, President Rudolph. Trustee Chen.
Aye.
Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Naraki.
Nay.
Trustee Bacon.
Aye.
Trustee Fink.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to reports. Monthly financial report. Trustee Martin.
We have nothing tonight,
All right.
except to say that Director Mastandona, good luck with babies.
Oh.
Not yet.
Oh, no? I misinterpreted, they're at the hospital.
We don't
Okay.
want good luck?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
okay,
yet.
Not yet.
No news yet.
Okay.
All right.
Oh.
Okay. I do not have a report tonight. Village Manager Bear.
I just have one item. This weekend, we had our annual Pumpkin Smash event. Daisy Chavez and her team of volunteers did a really nice job of collecting a lot of pumpkins. Daisy gave me all the details, and I left it on my desk. Daisy, do you want to go ahead and give us some of the details about how this weekend went?
So this past Saturday, we had the annual Pumpkin Smash event at the St. John of the Cross parking lot. We collected 5.77 tons of pumpkins that were diverted from landfills. So a big thank you to the green team and the volunteers and village staff for spending their Saturday morning. And it was a good successful event as always, so very thankful. And just a reminder on the holiday lights, we will have the holiday lights collection beginning on November 15th through January 31st. Same locations as every year here at Village Hall, the Thomas Ford Library, and at the True Value Hardware Store. So please leave your holiday lights and we'll collect them. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
That's all I have.
All right. Attorney Skronsky?
No report tonight, thank you.
All right. Very good. Then may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Who wants to second that?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. We are adjourned at 8:50. Thank you, everybody.
Good, I can recycle my
It's just
Christmas
about the.